You've heard me talk about the importance of the vibration or the frequency that you operate in. But what I want to do today is I want to give you the scientific term, medical term, if you will, and I want to unpack this for you in a way that is less woo-woo. I also talk a lot about the importance of emotions and about regulating our emotional state. We are emotional beings and we operate perpetually from a state of emotions. Now the question is, are your emotions expressed or are your emotions repressed? And that's another conversation entirely, but I really truly believe that in order to be authentically us, we need to express our emotions. Which brings me on to this term, limbic resonance. Now what limbic resonance is it's effectively spending time with a person and having a connection so that what happens is you transfer between yourselves emotional and physiological states. You ever been with someone who said they have a headache and you find after a period of time you have a headache too? That's limbic resonance. It's when you operate on that same frequency and you're swapping emotional and physiological states. Now, for limbic resonance to work, we need to have a multisensory experience. Now, think about the 5 senses that we have. When you're sitting in dialogue with a person, whether it's socially or whether it's a business context, there are various senses involved. So we can touch the person, smell the person, hear, and see. So can you see there's a multisensory experience going on here? Now, just as an aside, think about how our digital age has changed the way we communicate. And if we're communicating on a Zoom call with cameras on, we have halved those 4 senses because now we're only seeing and hearing the person. And if we've got cameras off, we're having certainly not a multi-sensory, we're having one sense involved in the experience. And this is why we don't connect with people on Zoom. We don't connect at that same level as we do when we're in person. Now, limbic resonance is something that is actually inherently needed for our survival. If babies are deprived of limbic resonance, if they don't have that connection with their mother, their parent, their caregiver, very early after they're born, they will die. Do you think we're any different? We need limbic resonance in our life in order to live, thrive, and flourish. And yes, to live with purpose, to live with a vision. So we need that limbic resonance. So the first question I want to ask you is, how much limbic resonance are you creating in your life? And that's simply a fancy way of saying how many face-to-face, one-to-one dialogues are you having where you're having the chance to have that multi-sensory experience with other people. It's good for your soul. Do it. The second thing I want to talk about is, first of all, we have resonance. That's when we start resonating with one another. But after resonance, there comes regulation. This is so beautiful. I'm sure you've heard the expression, a burden shared is a burden halved. Now this is exactly what happens. When you share your burden with your friend, with your coworker, with your boss, whatever it might be, right? When you share your burden, if you've achieved limbic resonance, you've connected, right? Now you've shared your burden. That person has the opportunity to regulate your trauma, to regulate your emotional state. That's why you feel better after you share. Isn't that the most incredibly powerful thing you've ever heard? So we need people not only to resonate with, but to help us regulate from the me perspective, but also to help us regulate others. Now let's take it to the third level. So we've resonated with someone. We've been able to be involved in regulating either them or ourselves. And the third step is we can revise that limbic connection, right? So, and this goes back to the whole child bonding with mother thing, right? if we've bonded incorrectly, if we've had a troublesome childhood, what happens is we tend to choose the wrong partners, or we tend to choose the wrong situations in life. We resonate with the wrong people, people who don't serve us, people who are going to hurt us. And if we want to revise our limbic resonance, all we need to do is practice go in reverse, practice that art of regulating that resonance, becoming conscious of, who am I resonating with? Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? Can I change this? And this is how we can revise our limbic resonance so we don't repeat the patterns of the past. This, to me, is such a powerful learning, because what this does is it explains that woo-woo thing of frequencies. Operate at a high vibration. It sounds all sorts of woo-woo. But if I talk to you about limbic resonance, it sounds far more scientific. And in fact, it is. So my encouragement to you for this week is think about the places where you resonate with people. Think about how you resonate. Think about, does this resonance serve you? But also, before you even get to that stage, have those opportunities, create those opportunities to resonate, because without it, we will die. We were born to live in society. We were born to connect and to feed off, if you like, each other's energy. So make sure that you do it properly. Make sure that you do it in a way that serves both you and your recipient. And just watch how much more purpose-driven your life starts feeling.